and welcome to the Filmmakers Podcast.
This is a podcast where we talk
Filmmaking.
from indie films to studio films, TV, and everything in between.
How to get them made, how to make them, and
How to royally not fuck them up.
fuck. I like that a lot.
That'll do. There we go.
Who are you?
I'm Dom Lenoir.
Why are you introing the podcast?
Because I'm sat in a little chalet with director Jack Spring and producer Giles Alderson of the Filmmakers Podcast. And also, Jack isn't, but he could be honorary guest. Because on this very fine day, we are doing a special of Northern Heist comedy and comedy sensation, 3 Day Millionaire.
Oh yeah, baby.
We have a very special guest for you. It isn't just me. It is the director of 3 Day Millionaire. Of 3 Day Millionaire.
Laughing at my mispronunciation.
How long have we been doing press for?
Of 3 Day Millionaire, Jack Spring. Hello, mate.
Hello, buddy. How are we?
Oh, good.
I know exactly how you are because we've been on the road together for a few weeks. We've just made a movie together.
Yeah.
Bit upset about the hot tub.
We've arrived at our location here, and Dom has been literally storming around like a what in a teacup? A storm in a teacup for the last 10-15 minutes because the hot tub had no water in it when he arrived.
Outrageous.
I've been setting up the mics. Jack's just been chilling, and Dom's been fuming. Didn't you call someone a bit of a shit as well on the phone?
I had a bit of I called them an arsehole, and they were. But let's leave it at that. And back to Jack onto his. He was about to anecdote away. So let's give him free rein.
Yes.
We're on tour.
We're on tour. This is we're about halfway through the tour now, aren't we? I think this is the bottom of the first row of dates on the poster.
Yes.
We're in Hull, which is obviously very close to Grimsby, where the film is set and the town that the film's about. And we're looking pretty close to a sellout tonight, aren't we?
It's a very, very good attendance.
I'm buzzing, actually.
And it's nice. It's nice how we've been able to find these independent cinemas. Tonight we're working with the Hull Independent Cinema Society, which has been brilliant because they're, like us, independent film enthusiasts, and they've done a lot of work in promoting this, and we've got an amazing attendance because of that.
I love that because it's so hard to get people to come to see cinema anyway. When you're doing a Q&A tour, it does help. For anyone out there, it's really worth doing. If you've got a film released, even if you just put it on iTunes, do a Q&A tour. Literally tour around the country. Cinemas will have you. Dom has been our tour manager and he's done an amazing job to get the cinemas that we have got on this tour. It has been incredible. But you can do it. If you're a filmmaker, don't not do it. Don't think you can't put your film in the cinema. You can.
There's some great things about it. Some things that haven't happened on the tour is singing I Want It That Away by Backstreet Boys.
That has happened.
Still time?
There hasn't been
Has it not happened?
There hasn't been lots of jokes about very full cars full of merchandising and whether it's going to fit.
There's not been enough jokes about that, but there has been about 1,000 puns from Dom Lenoir.
Oh yeah.
Every other word.
Hasn't there just? You can't move with Lenoir around. I would like to say he has been a remarkably excellent tour manager.
Oh, thank you.
The cinemas have all been beautiful. Ticket sales have been really good. The accommodation has been amazing. The organisation, despite my best efforts, has been superb. But the fucking puns, man.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Unbelievable.
I'm kidding.
Jack wasn't ready for it. He's coming cold turkey to the puns.
I've started to enjoy them.
You actually did one the other day as well, didn't you?
I did one. No, the puns are good, man. It's like being kind of like, I feel like we're like three kind of Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
On a little adventure. It's
quite
nice.
Isn't it? We're trying to. It's like Stand By Me, and we're going to find the dead body in the woods.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. Dom's buried a dead body somewhere. We've got to go find it.
Yeah, it was a cake to eat later.
Basically,
like a squirrel.
The other thing as well about Dom, and I love him to pieces, is he will go for cake. Like as soon as you arrive somewhere, we arrive here to this hot tub place. We walk in the pub. The lady goes, "Can I get you a drink?" He went, "Maybe, but I want to know what your cakes are first." In the pub, it's amazing.
Desserts. We went straight from cakes, and we graduated to the dessert board, and I just added an apple crumble, and it was a great afternoon deployment.
It did look good, to be fair.
I've never been a fan of cakes.
Oh, okay.
Cakes and popcorn are my two things. Because people over, no one actually likes cake. Right? We're socially conditioned to like cake.
Yeah,
right? You're never in Sainsbury's. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I know. I'll get a Victoria Sponge now. You're given them, and you have to be polite about them. You have to say, "Oh yeah, this is some moist sponge."
I'm the opposite of that. I love a bit of moist sponge myself.
But how often is it moist though?
that's also the
It's
question.
not got a very good hit rate.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah,
but that's
no,
not the point. You think it has.
Yeah,
the memory of that childhood
That's
soggy,
it.
See?
That's
soggy
social
Victorious
conditioning.
fun.
You don't actually like
is,
it.
No, it is social.
It's
Like
an
when I used to
occasion
get out
thing.
from school, suffering school, and then you get home and there'd be a cake in the car waiting, like a muffin or something,
What?
or a little bit of lemon drizzle or
Your
something.
parents gave you a
Yeah,
cake
yeah.
waiting when you
I
came.
think it was an incentive because
Well,
I was a bit of a naughty kid.
Were you?
So yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Oh no, yeah.
How many
Really?
times did you get kicked out of school?
No comment.
Serious?
Yeah. I was a proper ADHD poster child.
Wow, that was you on the poster.
Yes, exactly.
There's a few of them in the room.
We actually just as a quick sidebar, me and Jack had a
quick
very
one.
interesting conversation. Giles was there, but
I wasn't listening.
he wasn't listening about the. I mean, Jack, you can go into it because I found it really interesting, but I really related on how ADHD people actually are very good filmmakers because they're hyper aware of people's reactions, which makes us great directors.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ADHDs, I only got diagnosed with mild kind of adult ADHD a couple of years ago. I was doing my script analysis for a TV pilot, and it was just taking me a really fucking long time because I couldn't concentrate. And I thought, right, something's off here. And I got diagnosed, and even the diagnosis process, right, is it's not there's not like a gene wrong, or there's not a thing they can actually look for scientifically. It's you do a questionnaire and your parents talk about you as a kid. But yeah, one of the superpowers of ADHD is you have a far heightened emotional awareness compared to like normal brained people, whatever you want to call them. Like you read so much more into body language, and from a young age I could tell when someone was lying, when someone was upset, even though they were saying they were fine, to a lot higher degree than I think people without ADHD can. And a lot of us, every ADHD person is creative. Not every creative person has ADHD, but an awful lot of us in the film industry, whether we know it or not, have probably got it. And another ADHD thing is you're attracted to other ADHD people.
Yeah.
If you're
they understand.
All of my mates have probably got ADHD. Most of my mates in the film industry, I think every single actor on 3 Day, we all talked about it, whether we were diagnosed or not. We probably all got ADHD. But I think our industry, because we're kind of merchants of emotion, and we're good at that, and we understand emotion far better than normal brain people.
Yeah, and I think that's always what it was for me, is like I could experience emotions at the level I needed to by watching films and creating stories. Whereas in everyday interactions, it felt like I was on a different level to other people. So film is like my sort of outlet of that, like when I watch a really good film, that's like my ultimate like catharsis, or when I create one.
But where do you think this is? Why do you think we go down this creative route? Because we do have, our attention is short, we're saying, but yet when we're making a film, you can't be. Watching Jack on set, he was the most attentive, most focused. He knew exactly what he wanted. I wasn't watching someone with ADHD. So how do we compartmentalize this?
So ADHD, if you care about what you're doing, you're probably done,
Yes.
going back to school, there were certain subjects where you were fucking gripped and you have tunnel vision and,
And you're superhuman when you get focused.
Honestly, yeah, it's unbelievable. But if you don't give a fuck about what you're doing, your attention span, is gone. So on set, we do all of the raising money, all the scripts, everything to get to that point on set, because that is what you really fucking care about. And nothing There's
else
no
matters.
greater buzz, and you are you're like a horse with blinkers on, But if I remember at school, if there's subjects I didn't care about, or even like I worked at Waitrose when I was a kid, and I couldn't give a toss, obviously, and you're just not engaged.
Yeah,
I like their food though.
Just bring it back to cake. I thought you were going to say cake. Let's bring it back to cake.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting because I must be as well. I've never been diagnosed with it, but I'm constantly jumping from one thing to the other when I'm prepping, when I'm doing stuff. I've got to do that. I don't know if your brains work the same, but I literally, if I don't write stuff down, I have this bigger problem in my head, and it keeps ticking away. Oh my God, you've got to do that. Oh my God. And that fear. So what I do now is I write these lists, do, and to-do lists, and I cross them off, and then I write a whole new to-do list on the next page after I've crossed those ones off.
Yeah.
Are we all this? Is this the kind of thing that all filmmakers do?
Do you know why? So I had this explained by the ADHD doctor. So ADHD, your frontal right cortex, which is your part of your brain that's responsible for control, it basically doesn't grow much since childhood. And you look at any kid, ADHD or not, and they're jumpy, whizzy, they'll climb on things, they'll do this. ADHD folks, their brain doesn't really grow, and there's different theories as to why that happens, like stress in the womb and all the like cortisol, blah, blah, blah. But the frontal cortex is the way he described it, which makes sense to me. It's a little bit like a traffic warden, right? A crossroads, like imagine a 4-way crossroads. So people without ADHD, the traffic warden is awake and present and stops, lets one thought in at a time. ADHD people, and this is why they give them like stimulus drugs, because this never made sense to me. Why are you giving kids, amphetamines to get them to concentrate more? It's because that police officer is basically asleep or not doing it very well. So it lets all these thoughts in, and then that's why you get a million things going on in your head at a time, and it's hard to turn off and all this shit. So yeah, that's why they give kids with ADHD amphetamines, because it just turns that part of the brain on, and then you're able to
and that makes sense actually, because when you got so much to sort. I mean, like this tour, it came out of nowhere, and I had to sort so many different venues and so many different moving pieces. It was really challenging at the start, and then as more of the pieces fall into place, suddenly those things get narrowed down, and it becomes a lot easier once you've got some foundations. But I think that's one of those things. Without foundations, it's very hard. That's kind of my script writing process as well. I like to get it out and do the first draft so I can see it, and then it's out on the page. And then, so I mean, I'd be interested to know about what your process is in terms of writing, both of you, like Giles as producer, Jack as director, when 3 Day Millionaire came to you, how you got stuck into it.
What was from producing side then to jump in
terms of like script notes?
Yeah.
Got a project, it's arrived to you. What's your input, producer? What's your input, director?
As a producer, I instantly think, how can this do well? Because I'm not now thinking of as a director. I'm not going, okay, here's how I'd shoot this, because that's what gets me excited. I'm like, oh, okay, we could do, there's a camera here, we could do this. Wouldn't it be great if an actor came from this side, and this shot could be here? As a producer, I'm thinking about the practicalities of it straight away. I'm reading that script in a totally different sense. I'm still reading it as a viewer. I'm still reading it and going through it in how can this do well? Why do I want to do this? That's my first thought. As soon as I've done that and I've gone through that process and gone, do I want to work with the people behind it? And in Jack's case, I did. It was then a case of, how do you practically put this together? You've how many locations you've got in here? That's going to cost. How can you get from them at a day? Can we do these in the same place? Can the kitchen area of that one, of Budgie's mum's house, say, can the bedroom be in the same building, even though it's a totally different house? That's my first thought. How do I do that? Because I've got to move my crew around. I've got to make sure all that's done. So I'm reading scripts once I've already established the fact that I want to do it in a different light. It's a different brain set than the director.
Producer hat.
Yeah, it's a producer hat. You're thinking about money. You're thinking about saving money. You're thinking about practicalities of it. How many days shoot? It literally, and then you start breaking it down into, okay, let's do all this. Go through it with the line producer, go through it with the production designer, go through it with the director, in this case, Jack, how we're going to make 3 Day Millionaire in the space of time we have with the money we have.
And I think it helps that you've been a director as well, because in the back of your mind, I mean, like, I produce so that I can direct what I want to direct without having to compromise. Like, I will find a way to find a solution, and it helps to know what a director is thinking to do that. So you're thinking, all right, well, what does Jack want? How am I going to get it to him on the budget without him feeling like he's been let down, or that his vision has been squashed?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I asked early to see a shot list and see. So, and it's something for directors out there, for a producer or a set designer or whatever, asked to see those shot lists. This isn't anything on you worried about what you're going to shoot, really, even though that's also in the back of your mind as well. It's actually the practicalities of how
to get on board.
Get on board, yeah. Okay, if you're going to you've got 2 close-ups here, okay, I can see from your storyboard, you've got this. How are we actually going to manage that? And I look at that and I go, okay, my director's eye goes on that instant and go, okay, well, cool. Well, if that means if he or she wants this shot here and this one, they'll probably want this one as well. Okay, so that'll take this amount of time. Therefore, we need this location for definitely half a day because we've got the ins and outs. So it's all these things that you suddenly do, and then you think about how much it's going to cost for certain camera moves if it's a second floor. Okay, he wants to shoot through the window. How you're going to get the camera up there? You need a crane. All those things go through your mind, and then you just start speaking to the director about it.
And speaking to the director, because I've also heard about your infamous or famous script breakdowning that you've sort of anecdoted to us a few times, and I'd be really interested. I think the audience would be interested in just what that involves in terms of what you're breaking down into the scenes, because you're not breaking it down as a producer, you're breaking down as a director.
Correct. Yeah. So by the time we got to that point, we have some money in, so we know it's kind of going to happen, and that's what we're doing now. And the next film is, at least 10, 12 weeks of script analysis, I call it. And I've already done 6 weeks of storyboarding, so I draw them out, the whole film, literally as snowmen, because my drawing's not very good, but that's all you need, you're just working out for yourself, is this a 2-shot, is this a single, what shots do I need to cover the scene, and you you birth the style of it through that, and then you give that to the DOP and they light it, and my extent to the visual input is done, really. But yeah, script analysis, it is 60% of my job, it is where essentially you make the decisions on how you're going to direct the scenes. So I think as a director, you're just a professional problem solver, and you are just in this process solving the scenes emotionally. So for every line in a script, there's dozens, if not hundreds, of different ways you could say the line. And your intuitive read is probably quite close to what you end up doing, but you solve it emotionally and then put it into essentially verbs, how you're going to direct the actors, and make it playable direction rather than just you're sad here, you're happy here, because if you say to me in a script, let me buy you dinner, you could be saying that because you're apologising to me, you could be saying that because you want to fuck me, you could be saying that because you want to entice me and beat me up, there's 100 different ways, and
all of those things,
all of them things probably, and
so really you're looking for the subtext and actually to give some of the options, or at least be aware of what the main options might be for those subtext.
Yeah, and you have 3 or 4 options for each line, and then within them different types of subtext, 3 or 4 bits of playable direction you can give. And there's 75% of the time the actor, they do the same level of homework, but obviously just for their character. And so you don't, you use a minimal amount of the homework you've done, but you've got to be, the way that I do my homework, it's as if they've never acted before, never, don't speak English, I pride myself on my homework, and it just means that when you go into rehearsal, you're prepared, and that rehearsal time is a fucking real good use of money and time, because then by the time you're on set, 95% of your decisions have been made, and it's usually just a little bit of intuition if something's going wrong, or if it's not quite working on the day, you go back to one of your other options. You're basically taking away as much of the making it up as you go along as possible, because you'll get caught out, especially being a young director. Cast crew will latch on straight away if you're not prepared, and I've always been like this, from Destination Dewsbury and short films before that. I'm pretty homework mad, and
I suppose it's also finding the goal of the actor and the scene, like what they're trying to get from the person and the intention, exactly.
Yeah, even like you list out. I do not only do I do all my scribblings on the script, but I have probably a 10-point massive type up that takes 3 or 4 pages on each scene that I do on my laptop. Like the wins and losses, the emotional events, the domestic events, the objective of each character, the spines of each character, which is their desire through the whole story of their life, and how they've changed in that scene, and all of these things that you just prepped.
Where did you learn all this stuff? I mean, it's obviously it's part and parcel of a director, but to really go into, a lot of directors don't know how to work with actors. This is all very in-depth stuff. Where did you learn this?
I read 2 books.
What were the books?
Just 2?
Yeah, literally, I read 2 books. Genuinely, I read them, one short film before I directed Destination Dewsbury, which was my first feature film. It's called Directing Actors by Judith Weston.
Yep, I know, it's a great one.
And
classic.
And there's another Judith Weston book. I can't remember the title, but I read them 2 books, and them 2 books are basically about script analysis and how. Because I growing up as a kid, I started making films when I was 13, so I always knew what I wanted in my head. Again, I just intuitive read. But the bit I struggled with not being an actor was how to communicate what's going on in my head to actors. So reading them 2 books, A, taught me what playable direction is, and then B, helped me work out how to harvest that from a script and be prepped and how to rehearse. Because you're right. A lot of directors don't know how to work with actors, and it's quite shocking when you are essentially the head of department of the actors as well as the conductor of the orchestra, that you don't know how to work with them. And I've heard many a horror story.
Isn't it amazing? I find that fascinating. I'm trying to look up that Judith Weston book for you, because I think we need to put that in the show notes.
So it's a film director's intuition. That's the other one.
That's the other one.
I think I've definitely read one of those. I'm not sure if I read both.
I really like that. For me, books are very important. Like before going on set, just even if it's visual references, if it's researching what other directors have done, I really get inspired by that, because sometimes you can get a block, like when you're doing your storyboards and you sit there, and I do a lot of prep as well. I spend a lot of time going through my shot list, how I'm going to do this. I love spending time in the locations as well. If I can get there months before, I will, because now I visualize everything, how the scene's going to play out, rather than you're imagining it. It's like reading a book and then like a Harry Potter, and then you watch it and it's a totally different. Harry Potter's probably not the best example of that because it's pretty much how it is in the book. But you know what I mean? It's that feeling. So for me as a director, it's the same thing. You're going, oh, I imagine they're going to walk from this window, they're going to come there. But actually then you find the location, you go, okay, I've got to reimagine it again. So the sooner I can get in my locations, the better. But I find it amazing that people who want to direct don't learn how to speak to actors.
Yeah.
Back when I was acting, the amount of people who didn't know how to talk to me was incredible.
It's criminal, man. How can you be taking a wage when you don't know how to work with the people that you work with?
They'd almost get angry with you. They wouldn't know how to say it. They wouldn't know how to speak to you. And you as an actor, after a take, you need instant gratification. You need someone to go, that was great, nice one. Give me a moment. I just need to speak to the DP. I need to speak to lighting before I come back to you. Or you go straight to them. If you don't say anything, the actor goes, was our shit? Instantly, because that's how they feel. Yeah. It's how actors feel. It's like, oh God, I fucked that up. They're not saying anything. Oh, they're all talking amongst themselves. They're whispering over there.
Yeah.
That's about me. Oh my God. That goes in the heads every single take. So you have to say something, even if that was nice. Even if you didn't think it. Whatever it is that you need to do to get the performance from them.
Fist bumps.
Fist bumps, right?
Fist bumps, baby.
They then go, okay, cool. Yeah.
High fives.
And if they trust you as a director as well, if they know that you've said before, okay, well, something missing here. Let's try this intention now. And then when they nail that, you go, brilliant. Now they trust you. So next time when you say, yes, I got that, they believe you. Even if they might not have felt it, it's like, it's all right. It showed on the screen.
I think also as well, like, I mean, what you should be prepping this is kind of how I feel about, I'm very actor led now. I started off in camera, but that's my focus is actors and emotions, because that's the stuff that makes you feel at the end of the day. The music and the cinematography all adds to that, but the core of it is that. But if you've got a good cinematographer, you've got good production design, you've got good costumes, all of that stuff is conveyed. You can convey that vision in advance. And I'm not saying you should leave them to it, but if you've got good people on your team, they will know roughly what to do for the setups. The actors, if you haven't conveyed that information or you've just sent them the script, they need the direction. They need to be guided in the way that you want for it to be authentic, and that really should be the focus. I think for
that's why it's drama. Called directing. You're directing the vision of this piece. But like you say, there's so many amazing directors who don't really direct actors. Ridley Scott's one of those very, very famous ones who
he breaks them down with millions of takes.
Yes, with millions of takes. But he also he'll just go again, and you as an actor, you're like, okay, what is that? What am I getting? Dave,
what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? But what I found fascinating about working with you, Jack, and watching your style was that you would do a lot of takes. And me as an indie filmmaker would go, time. And I'm the producer, go, no, we've got to move on. But what it did do was it broke down the wall of, I feel awkward, or I'm not sure I'm getting this, until the end, they got this angsty, raw kind of, I'm going to give you this fire. And that was fantastic because that's what you wanted. It came across that way, but I think it took a while for people to see that. And it was like, it's fascinating. It was like, okay, all right, now I see.
It's weird because I don't feel like I do that many. Every director, I've not spent time watching other directors' work really. So yeah, maybe compared to others I do, it's just kind of I'll go until I'm happy. I'm not leaving set unless I'm happy. And even in the edit, if the editors picked the wrong take, I know straight away that I wouldn't have left set with that. And it can be one little thing off, but we're going again. It's my job at the end of the day. Right? People put millions of pounds into your films. It's you are the gatekeeper as to what gets out, right? And it's for the sake of going another 10 minutes, to get a performance that works emotionally.
I agree. At the end of the day, look, your crew, you've got to be good to your crew, and as long as you've got them on side to say, look, give me another, please. Do you mind? It will be worth it. But at the time when everyone's knackered and it's raining and they've been working, slogging their guts out for you, that's why you've got to be good to them. That's why you really have to try and look after them. And it was difficult on this job. There was a lot of things that were challenging.
Like shooting in the summer.
like shooting in the summer, like shooting with when it was the busiest time for British filmmaking that's ever been. All crew were gone. You know, it was really hard to get hold of people. We were losing people left, right, and centre before we shot.
Post-COVID boom.
Yeah, the post-COVID boom. We were shooting in COVID as well. And what we wanted to do, and Jack certainly made a good point for this, was we wanted to hire local crew. So you want to talk about that? Because I found that was brilliant. It was just something, yes, let's see who we can get locally.
Yeah. So it's all financed, set, shot in Grimsby, every single frame of it. And it's where all my dad's side of the family from. I'm a massive Grimsby Town fan. And yeah, you know, I didn't just want to be a film that comes up there, uses the wonderful town to shoot in, calls in a load of favours and doesn't give much back, you know. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely, you know, and it's credit to you, you know, one of the things that I feel we, you know, did really, really well while we were shooting was get as many kids from Grimsby on that set as humanly possible. Yeah. And I think we did. And, you know, the negative of Grimsby today, or when we were filming there a year ago, is, you know, if you're a professional in the film and TV world, you probably don't live in Grimsby because all the work is in London, Manchester, maybe a little bit in Leeds.
Made it tough for me.
But pretty much nowhere else. You know, if you're a gaffer, you don't live in Grimsby because, you know, you'd have to travel miles and miles for work every day. But you know, we really did get everyone on that was humanly possible, and yeah, you know, I think one of the things that makes me proudest is, you know, outside the actual finished product, is the amount of kids that did work on our film that have now gone on, even within a year, to do pretty cool shit.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Yeah.
We brought her, like Millie Hay was a perfect example. We brought her on a script supervisor because we lost ours before we even started shooting. So myself and Alexa War, our line producer, were sharing for the first week. As I was trying to produce, as we were trying to sign deals and do distribution. And I think that's also why it was difficult. But then Millie came on and she'd done like script work before, but never been a script supervisor. And she learned. And now she's doing, you know, she's moving into the industry in a big way, and that's lovely. You know, that wasn't the only person that happened with. There was so many that worked with. Kay Denali's now working at
My Energy.
My Energy is a full-time videographer.
Archie Fox, a little weasel.
Yeah, he's now editing.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
there's loads.
There's so many. There's so many of our crew, which were just wonderful, and they were so nice people as well.
Do you want to tell us what the film is about, and then we can play the trailer?
Absolutely. So the term 3 Day Millionaire is common in Grimsby and Hull and fishing communities. It basically describes the trawlermen that would go out to land for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. They come back to land for 3 days, and it was fisherman folklore that if you went back to sea with coin in your pocket, your ship would sink. So what that meant is the lads all came back. They went down Freeman Street, which is like the Las Vegas Boulevard of North East Lincolnshire, got on the piss for 3 days, got these wonderful suits made every time they came back, and just spunked a month of wages before going back out to sea. And that's kind of how the film starts. And then the lads get told that the industry's died kind of overnight, which is kind of what happens in real life. And they get roped into doing a heist on the company's safe to save their very way of lives.
Oh, give us a look.
We're home, Budgie Boy. Best place on earth. Welcome to Grimsby. To the ocean we are born, and to the ocean we shall return.
Grimsby is as dead as freaking dead whelks and Crabshire, I'm telling you.
But the glory days are coming back. They are coming back. 3 Day Millionaires. That's what they called my dad and his mates back in the olden days. And in this town, you've got 3 days on land to blow a wage. That pretty much makes you a millionaire.
Bar's pulled the plug. He's flogged the docks. Purchased by the Divine Residential Group. It's got a nice little ring to it, that, hasn't it?
We need to do something. Bar is selling the docks. We're done.
There is over 500 grand sitting in that bloody safe. The sort of money the likes of me and you, we don't come across too often.
Not joking, are you? Fishermen, we are. Ocean's fucking 4, we definitely are not.
He's probably doing this with some big idea of how to save Grimsby.
Okay, listen up. We have to get through 3 layers of security. Number 1, the security guard at the docks. Number 2, thumbprint access to the buildings. Number 3, that's the coded lock to the safe itself. Without which,
none of this will happen.
You promised me that you weren't going to do anything stupid.
Why are you being so naive?
This is it, boys.
My love, How did it go?
Pretty good, thanks. Not too quick or anything.
There we go. What a fantastic trailer that was.
Indeed.
Just happened instantly.
There it was. We got coffee and cigarettes to do that, who were fantastic. I think it was something we really wanted to do, wasn't it? Was to not just put a trailer out that wasn't really well produced. As an indie film, it happens.
You've got to go big on the trailer.
You've got to go big. And as much as it cost us, we thought that was so important that it didn't look average. It couldn't look like, your mates edited this. It had to look.
Yes.
Had to look big.
We have to be very careful what we say here. But we took it into our own hands a bit, didn't we?
We did.
Yes. And coffee and cigarettes were great. And yes, I think putting a trailer out, one of the worst things about Destination Dewsbury, my first film, was the trailer. It was fucking shite. And I didn't want to make that same mistake again. I cheaped out on it. Quite frankly, on that film, we didn't have the option to do anything else. But yes, we struggled. I think trying to edit with you and your mates a trailer together when you're not a trailer editor.
It always annoys me when people sort of treat it like it's the same thing as normal editing. It's not.
It's really not.
It's an astonishingly specific type of editing.
Oh, yeah. Even Kevin Chicken, who edited the film and edited my last film and edits everything I do, I love him to bits, but I wouldn't let him go anywhere near this. He's a fantastic editor, but he would self-admit, it's so specific, and you kind of have to have been doing this for years and years and years. And
so we paid for a professional company to do this, who do trailers. That's their job, and they can see what works and take the bits that work that we would never see. And we're so precious about our films, and it's really difficult to see it objectively when you're trying to do a trailer. So again, look, indie filmmakers don't often put that in the budget. It's just not there. You don't put trailer budget.
But I think it's one of the most important things. Your poster and your trailer are the two things that will separate you from looking like an indie film or looking like a big film.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one wants to look like an indie film. You want to sell yourself big.
You don't want to look like a market stall at the local market. You want to look like the Nike store on Oxford Street.
Exactly.
That's it. That's what you can do.
And that's but you have to pay for this kind of thing.
Yeah. And speaking of trailers, where some of your fabulous actors stayed in a trailer park. How do you like that for a segue?
Wow. Check you out, Primo host.
It's about my crumble.
This ain't his first rodeo.
Talk us through casting Northern actors in the roles. First of all, let's start with that, and then we'll work on to casting names such as Column.
Yeah, I'll do the Northern accent. Northern actors.
Let's go for your Northern accent.
Northern accent. Yeah, bag on.
How are you doing?
So apologies to all my Northern friends.
I love the North far more than the South, really.
Apologies to all my Southern fans.
So my way of casting is again probably something like my prep that I probably swim against stream a little bit and do a little bit differently to most other directors. I watch every single tape that comes in. We put it on Spotlight and all the other places that you may find actors with a scene for whatever character it is. They send you a tape, and I love watching all of them because it's not a slight on casting directors, but any human that are making decisions about characters, your opinion on who the character is, might be 1% different to the person sitting next to you, and ultimately you're the one directing them, and it's your vision, and you got to take responsibility for casting. And I think it's a bit lazy that directors don't watch all of the tapes. I understand that some directors, their circumstances mean they can't, or whatever. I get that, but in my position, I can, so I do, and they were all essentially just the best. I thought they were the best for the role, and I think the casting was smashing, and I think it was it's one of my biggest strengths. I think casting the right people. I
think it's also it sometimes it comes down to taste, but it also comes down to what you're looking for in actors. I mean, I like to cast. Generally, I like to make emotional films, so I'm looking at who can do emotion, who can react to other actors, who can be like in that moment and really go there to 10 with the anger or the sad or the happy or whatever. There are some roles you literally do not need that in a film, but I wouldn't want my lead in a main drama film being someone that can't go there. Whereas some people will look at it and they just say, well, they're a top actor, you should get them, you should be happy to have them. But for me, it's like that's not what the film is about. Yeah. And I think when you're in, maybe you feel the same about what you did in yours.
Yeah, I mean, I most of the time I send them 2 or 3 scenes to do. One is their kind of it's their characters in different parts of their journey, or their characters, to put it bluntly, sometimes being sad, sometimes being the showman or happy, or whatever it is, just so I kind of am comfortable that I'm covering all bases. And like Melissa, who played Demi, she did 1 tape for me. I was interested, so I sent her a few more scenes, and she ended up clearly working out what I was doing and sent me, I think, 8 different scenes back from the script.
It's clever.
Just covering off all angles, and I was like, okay, yep, great. She was amazing.
Well, that was really interesting because she came through Lucinda, and I think at the time we were looking for very specific northern actors, and she's not.
No.
She's very, very southern actress, very southern sounding, and a voice generally.
Yeah.
And I think that was always okay, well, let's look at the northern actors first. But what she did there was go, and this is great for any actors listening, and she went, no, I'm going to prove to you I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, the northern thing, I think we're probably overstating it, because the Grimsby accent is very specific, and I think, as me being a southerner, or any southern listeners sometimes can paint the north with one brush. We knew, whether they
gravy brush,
whether they were from, Newcastle or Southampton, we knew that they'd have to get an accent coach, and it probably subconsciously helped me link them to the character if they had a northern accent, because they were closer to the character. But
sometimes it's about the heart.
Yeah, I want to get the right person
rather than the specifics.
Yeah,
and that's another thing I sometimes think about with actors. It's really about capturing the essence of someone. Sometimes that is more of a hook to the audience than the specific.
I like casting actors who I feel are as close to the characters in real life as humanly possible. And I basically try and get an understanding of them as people quite early on, and essentially what their spine is as real humans. So what gets them out of bed in the morning? Is it to make as much money? Is it to impress their dad? Is it external validation? Whatever it is, we've all got them as, we all have a drive as humans, and we might not often talk about that, but we all do. And I've by this point I've done my script analysis, or at least I'm through it to an extent where I know what my characters in the script spines are, and I tend to cast real life people who have similar spines, because then the big decisions that the character makes throughout the script make sense to them because they're determined by the spine. For example, if your character spine is to impress your dad or get validated by your dad, and you're in a scene where there's a shit ton of money on the floor, you're probably going to do the thing that would impress your dad most, or make that, our major life decisions, do we go direct something in Hollywood? No, because our spine is to care for our family who are here in London. The big decisions we make are determined by our spine. And so, long story short, I like to get to know them as real people before I say yay or nay. And, I was able to do it. This was during COVID, so we had Zooms. I did go up to take James Burrows to Grimsby Chesterfield, because he lives around the corner from Chesterfield.
For those who don't know, that is the football game. Grimsby FC, Chesterfield FC game.
Yeah, and Grimsby lost 2-1. So he thoroughly understood what angry group of Grimsby people can look like pretty early doors. And I said, we will not be having this at the premiere, because we will make a wonderful film that represents the town in a lovely light. But no, so casting's key, man. If you get casting right, kind of 70% of your job's done.
I'd say 75. It could even go higher, because
80.
It could go higher. Final. I agree. I think casting because if it's wrong, it's done.
Game over.
If you've got an investor who, says, oh, come so-and-so, my cousin's friend, be in it. And you're going, well, yeah, because that gets us to make the film. Sure, if that's how you want to do it. But be aware that scene could be the worst scene in your film. And it could ruin it for everyone else. You have to know that and
I'd rather not make it.
Really?
I've had opportunities where there's some very big people I could have cast, but I just haven't, because they weren't right. And I'd rather not do it with the wrong person.
Which is very brave. And I think people starting out don't necessarily have that choice, because when you're starting out, it's so hard to get your first film made that you kind of do anything to get there. So I totally understand people who do.
But these people are also like, especially if you're telling what you feel is an important story, these people are your conduits. Like they're the one like carrying the honor of this story or representation of people, whether it's suicide or grief or loss or struggling to make ends meet. If you choose someone that doesn't cut the mustard or doesn't care in the way that you care, you know, you're selling the whole idea and everything that it represents down the drain.
Yep. It's amazing, you know, having done 3 Day Millionaire and going through the process and going to all the markets and the festivals and speaking, you know, for the first time to proper salespeople and distributors. It is fucking phenomenally sad how important named cast are in a film's success. It's 90% of it, you know, it really, and it's a joke that we're kind of as an industry, you know, in this position where, you know, you will end up, you know, you're sacrificing art, you're making shitter films for big name, you know, to get names in that aren't right for the roles, and you know, there's probably 10 actors that are, you know, maybe 100 that are better for that role. But you know, you can make a 10 out of 10 film with 3 out of 10 cast, and you're going to have 4 out of 10 results. But you can make a 3 out of 10 film with 10 out of 10 cast, and you'll get 9 out of 10 results. You know, it's
that's the way it is.
Yeah, but it is
Speaking of cast, how did you get your name on this?
Yeah, perfect, because it was your original question. Yeah, I agree with that. Before I come to Colin and Robbie and Jonas, is that it is a shame, because you want to make a film, but now you need a name in it. You need a star, and I mean that in the name inverted commas, because now you can't sell your film. And we've been to all these festivals and been doing it for so long. If you don't have a name in your film, they go, I haven't got time to watch it.
Yeah.
Even if Jude Law's in it for 2 seconds, if some ex-superstar's in it for 2 seconds, they will now pay attention because they can put that on the poster.
Yeah.
They might even watch the film. They don't care. They might even watch the trailer.
Yeah.
If you've got a huge star in it or the poster's amazing, so it's like, cool, yeah, we'll have that because I know I can sell it for 10 grand in Czech Republic, you know, and that's the issue we have as filmmakers.
They love Jude Law out there.
Yeah, all right, Jude.
Law into himself.
Yeah.
Nah,
we're all tired, by the way. It's incredible. We've been doing this Q&A tour for how many weeks?
It's only been a week and 2 days.
Is it really?
It's
not.
The thing is, it's so tiring when you're like on the road every day, and then you've got to like get up, check out, find some food, research where there's somewhere really delicious is for breakfast every day.
Make some puns.
Same in the evening, make some puns, and then you're on the road, you're driving, and then you've got to set up, go to the cinema, meet a whole bunch of people, socialise, do the same thing every day. It's really, really tiring.
And then you're also doing this while the film's coming out, so you're in. It feels like your entire fucking identity's on the line. You know, people have opinions on your work. Some people love it, some people hate it, and you know, so you're kind of you're dealing with all that. You know, something that you've worked for 5 years on, you know, 20% of your life, you know, and it's...
People just dismiss it like that within a second. Oh, it's just another whatever film.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the opinion is, it takes it out on you, you know, and I'm not just talking about people's opinions, but, you know, just... You know, it can be scary putting something out there. You know, like
it's frightening. That's why people don't do it.
That's
why people don't do it. That's why people say, "Oh, I could have been a film. I could be a filmmaker. I could do it," but you're not, because the scary part is, it's not just the fear of failure; it's the fear of success, and it's that what happens if I do well? What happens if I fail? So people don't do it, but actually, it's more brave just to go and do it and go. Do you know what? So what? So what? I'm proud.
It's because you're in the hands of the gods at this point.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, your work's kind of done. You know, you're doing bits of press and touring and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of, you know, in the hands of the other people.
Yeah. And you can do everything you can try. I mean, this is why we're doing this, isn't it? It's just, you try and give yourself the best chance.
Yeah, not the podcast.
Not the podcast. Never the podcast.
I mean, on this film, we have not we have done fucking everything we possibly can. Yeah, you know, genuinely, there is nothing left, you know, that we haven't done.
We've really knocked on the doors. We've pushed hard to get this cinema run. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it wouldn't be happening if we hadn't knocked that door down and made it happen. We wouldn't be doing the Q&A tour if we hadn't made that happen. Yeah. No one else is doing it for you, and I think that's the lesson we've learned.
That's why I call it the Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
One day we'll have the opportunity to tell some of the stories about financing this film, distributing this film. Yeah, now's not the time, but you know, honestly, like I think, you know, after 5 years of jumping over hurdles and essentially fighting to get this thing made and out there, and you know, it's like I'm tired of the battles now. You know, like, you know, we were talking the other day about we need a little Christmas break.
We really need a break, because it's and look, we're not complaining. Listen, we've got a movie out in cinemas, for God's sake. It's on the Sky Store now. It's on Prime now. Look, people love to have something like that. Listen, we're not moaning, we're not complaining, but we are. No, but we're just explaining right now our headspace of how difficult it can be, and in a wonderful way, but also you're putting everything out there. Your soul, your
emotionally
heart,
exhausted.
Emotionally exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is tiring, and I think at the end of the day, it isn't about complaining. It's just sometimes it's nice to know, because I think probably for the audience members, when you've been battling to get stuff made for a very long time, there's so much soul destroying, rejections and no's and years where you're thinking, am I ever going to make this film? Am I ever going to make this film? And then when it does happen, it is amazing. But there's so much of that in the background that's it's tiring, and people need to know that we go through that as well.
Yeah, that's why we're saying this, right? It's you're not alone. You'll go through this. We all go. Bloody Edgar Wright still has imposter syndrome every day he's on set. He talks openly about that. It's all part of what we're doing.
Spielberg with all his spiel.
Yeah, man. We're emotional people. We're merchants of emotion. It's why we do our job. We love humans. We love people. We love emotion. We deal in emotion, and it's all right to be tired sometimes and need a break, and put yourself first a little bit. And
I suppose what you're saying by that is that we love this. Listen, there's no question about it. Listen,
we love it enough to do all this.
Yes,
that's what we're
saying.
saying.
Because in 2 weeks' time, we're going to miss this like absolute crazy.
Yeah.
But right now, Dom's face. Well, you don't. But me and Jack will, because this is our. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Jack birthed something that when we get in that hot tub later, be a water birth.
Yes.
Placenta from here to Christmas.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's talk about how this actually happened a little bit, because I suppose people want to know how it. What?
Right, host.
Oh no! So go on, Dom. Sorry, I forgot. You're hosting.
Cheeky shit.
I forget. It's just I'm so used to it.
So let's talk about how this happened.
So this podcast is actually quite special, isn't it? And it's quite poignant that we are speaking about the film on this podcast, because this is how we actually met. This podcast.
I met Giles as well.
Yeah, so this trio of meeting, this triangle of love started because of this very podcast, and I think I'd just done Destination Dewsbury, or it was just out or something, and being the cocky little 19-year-old that I was, I sent Giles an email saying, I'm fucking great, get me on your podcast, you bitch.
Exactly like that. And I went, oh wow, he called me a bitch, I like it. No, but what I liked about that was the fact that you were very direct and very, you could tell your confidence, but not in, it was cocky, but it wasn't I wasn't like, oh no, this guy can go do one. Yeah. It was done in the exact right way. And then I watched your film, Destination Dewsbury, which I thought was great. And I went, I'm going to have this guy on. And we did, and we got on really well. Yeah.
And I kind of used you as a little bit of a mentor after that. Giles, I've got this, what do I do? Just
Uncle
naturally.
Giles.
Uncle Giles has done, this is movie number 9 for you? 10? Yeah. So Uncle Giles has, made lots of movies and, things that I hadn't done. So I kept reaching out to Giles, and then, one day we were most of the way there with financing, but there was a chunk to get, and I reached out to Giles saying, hey mate, look, this is where I'm at with 3 Day Millionaire. Is there any way you can help? Do you know anyone that can help? And, one thing led to another, and then Giles came on to produce.
Is that before or after you created the bromance of Shush films?
That was before.
Yeah, it's way before.
So that was through this partnership of getting this green lit that you're like, hang on, let's do more of this.
Yeah. So Shush has 3 directors.
Shush. It's not Shush.
Well, this is great debate in the Spring household.
It's a great debate.
Mrs. Spring.
We do arm wrestles about it.
All right.
Yeah. Mrs. Spring says I say it wrong all the time. What do you call it?
Shush.
Shush.
So basically, so people don't know why we're just shushing you all right now.
Shush.
Is that, our film company now is called Shush Films, which Jack had already you'd set it up, right? Because you were doing stuff with it. Yeah. But it just made sense for us to continue on that, because 3 Day Millionaire was run through that. And then along with our fantastic third compadre in Shush Films, Andrew Pettit, we were like, well, let's form a company officially with the 3 of us, and we did.
I think Andrew Pettit is one of the best people in the film industry.
He's
a petit déjeuner. A petit déjeuner.
So, go on, do the pun again.
Petit déjeuner.
Brilliant.
I don't know what that means.
It means like a nice breakfast in French.
Small breakfast.
He probably likes it. I mean,
but like a small but really good breakfast.
So
sorry, Andrew.
You went for a pun, and it just means something in French.
I don't even know how to link this back to sensibility.
You can't because it's ridiculous.
We're very lucky to work with Andy. You know, I think as a trio, we all have very different skills.
Yeah.
You know, I think Andrew gets to levels of thought that us two just would never get to. You know, he's fucking smart.
He's very smart. He runs businesses. You know, it's something that I've always wanted in this industry is someone who is that, who understands money, understands investment. And without him, there's no question we wouldn't be here now.
No way.
And then we had all the other amazing investors who put some money in as well, and just wonderful. Obviously, we did have one investor who pulled out just before we were filming.
Love that.
Naturally.
So for me, no one knew
Can't
this
go wrong with
either.
those.
Obviously, Jack knew, Alexa knew, and Lucinda knew, but no one else knew on set. But it was very frightening for me because not only am I script supervising, and then the second week first ADing, we're trying to find the money. We're trying to put that together to make sure the film doesn't fall off the rails.
Because you go past the point of no return with films where you have to commit and say, look, we're going to make this. We've got to start paying people.
Yep.
We've got to start getting people money to pay for prep, buy stuff, booking accommodation, because accommodation starts getting more and more expensive and elusive.
Especially when we're shooting in the summer. There was only one hotel that would have all of us.
Yep.
And even then that was tricky to get the right price that we could afford for our film. Deposits, all that stuff you've got.
Deposits for cast.
You have to pay for. But to be honest, by this point, we were well past that. Cast were already rehearsing up in Grimsby. We were going. Yeah. And now we didn't have that big chunk of money.
But that does kind of work. I mean, it's always scary, but you do sometimes have to commit before you're ready to commit.
Well, that was it. We discussed it, didn't we?
Leap off the diving board.
Yeah, and I remember we did discuss this, and you said to me, can we get through filming? And I remember saying to you at the time, yes, but actually going through the budget and going through everything, I was a little bit skeptical. My main point was I had to pay the cast and crew. Yeah. I couldn't I just didn't want to be the film company on our first big film that went, oh, we'll pay you in a couple of months, don't worry. And we were like, don't worry, we'll bring investors down to set, we'll do all this. But then when you're in set, you're in the middle of it, it's really difficult to organise that when me and you are literally running around organising everything else. There was no question about it, was tricky.
There's always traditional wisdom, and it's correct, is don't use your post money for the shoot. But if something falls through and you're halfway through shooting, get the bloody movie finished.
100%.
I mean, that you know, and there's a lot of scenarios I think where indie filmmakers have to do that. It's not great because you don't have money for marketing and you do have to go out again. But if you've got something shot and you've got it in the can, you know, raising post isn't impossible.
Well, it's
but if you don't finish it, then
it is easier. I think where our sort of issue was, we needed extra money in terms of, because some of it was BFI funds. So because of that, there wasn't that 20% of BFI. Well, technically it's 18 in the UK. Wasn't actually. It's fake money. It's not real. You need someone to come and put some money in, and they take a percentage of that as well. So it's very, very confusing, and it was. And in the middle of that, we were dealing with distribution deals as well, and that was fun.
And we move on from that chapter.
Yes, we do. And next time, we've learned so much from it. And we'll go into more detail, I think, at some point in the future on all this. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm ridiculously proud of the film.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
It's fucking good, man.
Yeah.
No, we did good.
Yeah.
Cast did good. It was fucking the soundtrack. Walk Boys.
Let's talk briefly about the soundtrack, because I think that's the sort of two things I like to cover before we go into sort of post. And I mean, we don't want to spend hours and hours, but let's cover the soundtrack and let's cover the visuals of the film and capturing Grimsby in a beautiful light, and then we can talk about the release.
Cool.
So soundtrack wise, the Water Boys were always in the script. We assumed we'd never be able to afford the Water Boys. Came across a wonderful music supervisor called Connie Farr, whose husband used to play for Grimsby Town. Naturally,
all connects back to
Grimsby Town. Honestly, without being a Grimsby Town fan, we wouldn't have had a penny of this finance. We wouldn't be sitting here today. No way. So I can never moan when they get battered 6-0 at Morecambe again.
Oh, can I interject here as something that I have been telling people occasionally now at talks and stuff, but actually people get so bogged down in trying to find investors in places where they don't live. If you live in the tiny place in the middle of nowhere, find investors.
Go to Investorville.
Exactly. The town of Investorville right near you. But no, my point is investors come from anywhere. In the film industry, if you're going to head to London, the big city, or to LA or to New York to find your investors, why would they put money into your film? What makes you special? You're just another filmmaker. Whereas in your area, your small town, you're not just another filmmaker, you're a local filmmaker. That is huge. People overestimate this. And again, a huge tip is never ask someone directly for money. Just don't go up to someone says, oh, they're quite wealthy. Don't ever go, hey, would you like to invest in my film? It just doesn't work. What you say is, do you know anyone who might like to invest in my film? Then what you find is next time they're at some nice event, they might be on the golf course, they say, oh yeah, I was talking about maybe a film. Do you want to invest in a film? And they turn to that person you've spoken to and say, well, are you investing? Now you've potentially got 2 investors. But it's just so important that people around you ask, does anyone know anyone who's doing well in their business?
And it's an opportunity as well, right, for investors, because I think when I was a kid and people were talking to me about investors, you think that you're going out like to Dragon's Den or out with a begging bucket, but especially when it's EIS like we are, it's a tax opportunity. A lot of these high net worth individuals are always on the lookout for EIS stuff. So it's a two-way. Obviously we're incredibly lucky to have the support we have, but I think the more I go on this journey, the less I feel like I'm going out with a begging bucket saying, please get this finance so I can make my film, and more it's, this is, we're always honest, this is risky, but it's fucking exciting. You've got the EIS, you've got all the other, tax reasons to do it. We love you, and you just get on with them as people, we like all of our investors are just fucking lovely people. And, like you just, by the end of it, you become mates as well. We are, we hang with our investors, like we're mates, we go for drinks, we, everything. See them at Grimsby Town games all the time. Yep. It's like, I wouldn't have it any other way, because, you just build that trust, and, you're all real normal people,
you got to talk to them like they're an investor, not like they're an investor, sorry. You got to talk to them like they're a normal person and actually find out what they're interested in, and not just like talk money. Oh, I'm scared. Can I have some money? Can I have some money? Just chat to them. Actually, that was always one of my things, is like try and become friends with them first, because you want to become friends with them, and then the money will come if they're invested in you, rather than trying to just sort of grab something.
Yeah,
it's never felt to me like I'm ever trying to sell them something. There's this kind of tactic, or this
that's it. Don't make it a tactic.
I don't make friends with them so they stick money in my film. We're just engaged with what, they find it quite cool what I do. I find it cool. They've all got interesting stories because they're successful people. I don't know. It never feels like, people ask, like, what do you say to investors? Like, I'm never really selling anything. I'm passionate about what I do, and they probably like that. And, I back myself to go far in this industry and make good stuff. And I don't know. It doesn't ever feel like you imagined an investor-director relationship would when you're a kid.
No.
Passion goes far. I think when you're pitching, and even if it's to your mates, when you're pitching and you're passionate about a project, it comes across. It just does. And people go, oh, I buy into that. And to be honest, our investors are buying into the person. They're buying into you, Jack. They're buying into the whole ethos of what this could be. And the same with you listening. They're buying into you. And if you're not passionate about your project, going, well, we could make money, I'm not really sure. Or it could be a good film, I'm not sure. It's crap, bullshit. You should want to make this with all your passion and all your heart.
If you're not, there's something wrong.
Exactly. Don't do it. Don't do it. Find the project that you do get ridiculously passionate about, because then you'll find the right people to back you.
Did we finish the music anecdote? I can't remember.
Music anecdote. So Connie Farr, her husband's Martin Gritton, who's a former centre forward for the Mighty Mariners, and
Grimsby Town.
Yeah, John Tonda, who does the commentary for Grimsby Town on Radio Amperside, and is a legend. He put us in touch. And Connie had recently done, I think it was a commercial with the Waterboys, so knew their people, and took the manager out and wined and dined them. And we wrote a letter to Mike Scott, the Waterboys singer, saying, your songs have been in the script for the start. We love them. They're kind of bread and butter of the film. And Mike Scott very kindly turned around and said, "Yep, have all the tracks. For mates rates, basically."
Yeah.
And
still cost us, but it was mates rates to how much it would be.
I don't think we really ever thought we'd get them.
No, we didn't.
No way.
We didn't. Well, there's a small piece in the film. He's an Elvis singer. And he was singing the Elvis song, obviously, on stage. But we knew there's no way we could afford the Elvis song. So we just took track out and just had him wailing.
We made something sound very similar, but just on the other side of the copyright law.
Totally got
Not suitable.
Yeah, it's not suitable. Totally. So you can pick, but yeah, the music wise, yeah. And then we got a composer to recreate some of the other tracks. And made it sound exactly the way
Same but different.
Same but different. And suddenly it feels familiar to the audience, especially if you put in the actual What Boys tracks spread out throughout the film. They go, that soundtrack was amazing. Ooh. But actually, there's only really 3 or 4 tracks you'd ever actually know.
And just going on to the vision of the film and capturing what Grimsby was like as a place visually.
It's fucking amazing, man. Like, I feel so lucky to be the first people to actually do a proper film in Grimsby.
First people. You more than one person.
I mean, Giles.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And everyone else who made it. It's not just a one-man band anymore.
That was just a grammar joke, but I appreciated the rebuttal there.
It was a one-man band back. It's only like 7 or 8 years ago. It was a one-man band thing. Like I'd hold the camera, I'd do the sound, I'd write it. It's been pretty quick to make proper movies.
Lonely journey.
Yeah, it's not a lonely journey anymore.
No, not anymore.
But at the start it was.
It can be frightening.
Yeah. But yes, the Grimsby is a place. I spent a lot of my childhood. I spent a lot of my childhood there. It's where my dad's side of the family are from. Big Grimsby town fan, so I'm up there all the time. And got sent a script, and I knew exactly where I wanted to shoot everything, and did. And the town had a very consistent look, especially anywhere near the kind of docks, that kind of red brick, ex-industrial, romantic feel to it, and it was just perfect. It's like walking around the Universal lot, on the docks and the Casbah, they call it that area, the docks that we did a lot of filming on. It's remarkable, and Grimsby is a place I cannot recommend enough. Everyone's fucking lovely, stuff's cheap. No one gave us any bother at all. Council got right behind it. Everyone did. The fun. From the financiers, literally people opening their doors during COVID and let us shoot scenes in their bathrooms.
I find it very touching going up north because everyone is much friendlier.
100%.
They're just 100%. You go into like a shop or a cafe and people are just warm.
Yeah, I remember I lived in York for a couple of years, which is where we're shooting the next movie. And I remember getting on a bus, and an old lady spoke to me. I thought, that's a bit weird. She must be a paedophile. And then I thought, and then the same thing happened on the same bus journey. I was like, oh shit, no, the north's just different. Like this is normal.
It's normal. And it was a shock for me the other way around, growing up in Yorkshire and then coming down to London, because I was so used to, you'd say hello, just you'd go, hello, you're right, and someone would go, yeah, you're right. You didn't need to do any more than that. Suddenly in London, if someone said, you were like, why isn't people saying hello to me?
It's horrible. It's
so
horrible.
Lonely.
Like, I grew up in South London. That's why every film or TV show, whatever I've made, has been in the north, because everyone's nicer and I like nice people.
North
and not that there's not nice people in London, obviously.
Now, speaking of nice people, though, to bring it back around to Andy Roger,
Beard Roger,
our wonderful cinematographer on this film. How did you talk to him about the look you wanted? What was the main things you said? Because you and him have nailed the look, the tone of this film.
Yeah.
Just take a break here.
I cannot speak highly enough of Mr. Roger. What a guy. A fucking lovely human being.
Yeah.
A calming, wonderful human being.
Lovely beard.
B, just a fucking great DOP. Unbelievable. In terms of the brief I gave him, I think Grimsby gave me the brief, really. Again, that kind of red brick post-industrial look. And Grimsby looks very consistent throughout. Which is always a challenge I'd faced on smaller budget stuff, is shooting it in a place where stuff looks different. The last one we shot was in Leeds, so there's kind of ex-studenty stuff, there's the terraced housing stuff, there's the new stuff. Grimsby all kind of looks, fairly uniform, within reason, obviously. And I'd done my storyboarding, and the script kind of lent a certain style and a way of shooting, and the fourth wall breaking was all in there, and I have certain things I like, symmetry and certain camera moves, and I'd basically just given that to Andy, and he did the rest. I can't turn on a camera, never mind work out where to put lights, or I'm not a technical director at all. I don't know what a fucking f-stop is. I know there's T-stops as well, but I couldn't tell you what the fuck they do.
That's when we all stop for a cup of tea.
Yeah. But Andy Roger does know all that stuff, thank God. I'm a kind of acty director.
He's teed up with
that. But I cannot speak highly enough of the fella. Absolute gem. Most importantly, a lovely fucking human being. And just, an honour to work with. And I don't think it'll be our last rodeo together. Let's say that much.
No, definitely not.
Rodeo.
Nice.
So you got this beautiful film.
Thank you.
What's the release plan? We were doing this delightful cinema tour.
Yes.
It's out as of yesterday. Where can we buy it? Why should you buy it? You should buy it.
Well, you should buy it because you've listened to this podcast for so long for free all this time. So yeah, go support. No, it's now out in cinemas, incredibly around the UK. It will be out in US and Europe very, very soon. We'll let you know. Obviously, we're shouting it from the rooftops as we always do. But it's in cinemas, in Showcase Cinemas in Parkway up north as well. So look, if you're anywhere near any Showcase, please do go support that. But it's also on Sky Store right now. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on iTunes, Rakuten, Google Play, all the places where you find good bloody films. This film is there now. Why you should watch it? Because it's a heartfelt
feel-good romp for all the family, to quote South Park.
Yes, but not for all the family.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'd say, swearing and swearing bits and bobs.
There's a lot of swearing in it, but also it's not aimed at anyone under really 13. But you should watch this because it means something. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of care to it. And it's funny as fuck.
And really, you should join the cinema tour, especially if you're in film.
Where are we playing, Dom?
Well, let me get the old Google Doc out.
He hasn't got a Scooby, has he?
He has no idea.
After all my kind words earlier.
I know, he's
Kid's
actually...
not got a clue.
No idea.
You can't end on a low like that, you savages.
You monsters.
On the 30th, we are going to Croydon and the David Lean.
Yeah.
Which is technically tomorrow. So this is Wednesday.
It's not technically tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Oh, technically tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, because this podcast is going out tomorrow.
Okay.
So technically when that goes out, it'll be tomorrow.
Thursday, we're at London Kino. That's a nice jolly there.
Bermondsey.
The 4th, we are at
Bridge
Birmingham
Boys.
at the Custard Factory Mockingbird Cinema.
That's the best sounding cinema we have on the tour.
Yeah, like Hunger Games Mockingjay, but without the carnage and fighting for your life.
And knowing
not seen it, mate.
how many desserts you like, you'll be all over that custard.
Exactly, I will. Then we are back up north to Wetherby
Whee!
Cinema.
The Wetherby Whaler. Nice restaurant.
Oh,
Have you been there before?
I don't know.
It's like a fish and chip restaurant.
The fish and chips. Yeah.
Wetherby Whaler.
Well, I'm from Harrogate, so very, very close to that. So if anyone happens to be near there, please do come and say hello.
And happens to like Giles as well.
Well, that's a tough ask, though. More likely to be from near Harrogate.
Then we're going to Bridport on the next day, which is in Dorset. And then the next day in Northern Ireland to Newcastle. Mm-hmm. Don't get that confused with North England, Newcastle, or you'll be on a very long journey to nothing. Then we are back.
Sounds like filmmaking.
Then on the 12th, we're down to Portsmouth, near my home roots. On to Wareham the next day and Dorset again on the 13th. And we're finishing off this lovely shenanigan with Derby on the 14th.
Of December. Links to all that are where, Dom?
On the show notes.
Yes, you got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Primo.
There we go.
Links to that are in the show notes. Go check it out. They will be there. Honestly, come Q&A tour, come support us that way.
I mean, if you're a filmmaker, it's such a good way to meet the filmmakers. I mean, you can go to one of these boozing and schmoozing events
that we will not be at.
Not to well, exactly.
Never going to. Oh man, I'm sick of that kind of shit.
I can't. I'm sorry. I just hate those things because you're just in a loud room. Everyone's drunk. People are all like pitching like nobody's business about everything. Come and watch the film.
Yeah.
Connect with people about something that you're there because it interests you and you like what work they've done, and then you meet them there, and then you get to know them informally over a period of time, and that is the much the best way to network.
Well, we're much more likely to, if you then email us afterwards, if we've met you and say, actually, I mentioned this script to you, or I didn't, but here, would you be interested in looking at this?
And it's not because you've come. I mean, it's nice that you've come to support the thing, but it's the fact that you're at a small event. It's quiet. And you can remember what's happened. You're not just another shouty person in your ear saying, cast me, or be my crew member, or whatever.
Or take me for custard.
Take me for custard.
I mean, that's the way to my heart.
Yeah.
Vegan custard.
Yeah, has to be vegan. Me and I was obviously vegan for 5 years, and now Jack is.
Now the big man's joined the circus.
Yes.
Nearly a year. I did say in January 4th I started being vegan. I said that at Christmas I would let myself have a go on the old cheese board.
That sounds some sort of weird euphemism.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
There we go.
Throw a Christmas one in there. Christmas cracker.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Really cheese.
my insides are looking forward to that festival of fun.
I'm interested to know, and obviously you're in the documentary as well, about how that is going to play out. The
Messy.
vegan documentary. Yeah,
Messy,
it's
I'd
horrible.
imagine.
Anyway, enough of that. We'll come back to that.
And as a last question, Jack, what's your advice to mini Jack? I don't know if you were ever not really tall.
I was born at 5'10".
Well, there we go. Okay.
Technically gave birth
I
to my
feel
mother.
sorry.
Born at age
Like
born
a
at age
snake
20.
shedding skin.
So, what's your advice to someone coming up the ranks who's trying to get into the film world and doesn't know what the hell to do?
Learn the money side of it. I know I'm sick of saying it because every conversation I have with someone that wants to make films is I give them the same advice, and I'm pretty sure that no one has ever gone away and done it. A very select few people have, because otherwise you'll just get stuck. You get to a point in your short film world where you need money because you want to go make a feature film, and so many people just get stuck kind of waiting for a producer to come and do it for them.
Yeah.
Then producers don't exist at that budget level. If you're a producer that can raise money, you're raising tens of millions of pounds because A, that's where your bigger paycheck is, and B, they're the kind of films that have a lot higher chance of making money.
Yeah.
So why the hell would they do your sub-million quid thing? They're not.
And there is a lot of entitlement there. Like, I've been trying for 5 or however many years, like to do this or that. But there is no handout, like really, and you shouldn't expect it. If it happens, great, through hard work, and fair enough. But most of it is sacrifice, going without, and beg, borrowing, and stealing until you've done something that's proven yourself. So don't do that. And don't keep making shorts forever. Try and get that feature made.
No film schools or universities, whatever, teach kids any other way. So I don't think it's like necessarily entitlement. I think I was just very lucky that someone outside of
sometimes.
Sometimes of course. But I was very lucky to have been taught by a producer and director duo how to raise money when I was 18, and that changed my life. And I always try and teach kids the same thing, but naturally as creatives we're resistant to the word money or any kind of mention of having to raise money and blah blah blah. And it's so sad to see so many people just get stuck because they kind of expect something else to happen. And I want to say both of you, thank you. Giles, you came on board this, and now we're a step up the ladder together. We have a very exciting production company together. Genuinely a joy and pleasure to work with you every day.
And you, sir.
Dom, I wish I could say the same thing. No, I'm joking. No, honestly. No, genuinely. I'm kidding. No, genuinely, you've done wonders on this tour. And yes, I would like to make a very public thanks. You have booked amazing venues, amazing accommodation. It has been a joy and a pleasure. I'm saying this as if it's the end. We're only halfway through.
The pleasure is all mine at this moment.
Yeah.
And I hope that hot tub's on by now, by the way.
Yes. On that note.
What if they didn't turn the hose off and it's overfilled?
Yeah.
And it's just spilling out into the world like our film.
Probably go check it.
Jose.
All right. Go watch 3 Day.
Jose.
You didn't just do that.
Is his name Jose? Or is that a racial
just
slur?
the name that works.
All right. 3 Day Millionaire's out now. Go watch it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Much stuff.
That was Giles Alderson and Jack Spring, producer and director of 3 Day Millionaire. You're listening to the Filmmakers Podcast.
Up the Mariners.
He suddenly turned into some sort of cheesy DJ. I liked it. But don't forget the elevator quote. Come on, this is what we do every end
I
of
never
the
remember
podcast.
it. And you never send it to me in an email so I can just memorize it.
I send it back down to you every episode. What do I send to you?
And remember, if you're lucky enough to make it up to the top.
It's good. It was close. Keep going. I'm enjoying it.
And remember, if you're lucky to send it, if you're lucky to make it to the top, be good enough to send the elevator back down.
We'll take that. A million thanks. Tom Lamar, thank you for hosting. You've been amazing.
Thank you, Giles.
Pleasure. We will see you all next Tuesday, as always, because we have on Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Hooray!
Which John Primo hosted on his own because I've been in
Connor was there,
Europe.
but... Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Connor.
Primo hosted on your own, but Connor was co-hosting with you.
There we go. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
So join us for that next week, and we will see you very soon, hopefully in the cinemas.
Yes.
Come join us. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, mate. Up the Mariners.
Cheers, Tom. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.